My name is Keith Giles. I blog. Mainly what I do is I write books. I have published several books and I blog at it's at Patios at keithgiles.com is my blog post. I always say that my ministry is introducing Christians to Jesus, which is harder than you think because most Christians think they already understand who he is and what he was all about. So it can be challenging, like some of the things I shared a minute ago. So I'm going to read two quick things that I wrote. I'm going to read one thing that I wrote and one that a friend of mine wrote. The other day, I just opened up my Facebook to make a post straight into Facebook, and I just started typing what I'm about to read. And I wrote the whole thing out the way you're going to see it, the way you're going to hear it. And I nearly deleted it because it was just too raw and it was just too painful, and I wasn't sure how people would receive it. But I went ahead and posted it anyway. And it's called Please Just Follow the Rules. And I think what's so difficult to share this with you is that I didn't write this to be spoken out loud. I actually wrote it for, it's written in in a white voice, speaking to a black audience. But it's a white voice that's very tone deaf. It's a white voice that responds to Black Lives Matter with the phrase, all lives matter. And what I wanted was my white friends to read what I had written, but I wanted them to hear it in their own voice. I wanted them to hear in their own voice themselves saying the things that I'm saying in this poem. So it's actually it's very, very painful for me to be reading this in my own voice because it's very, well, you'll see. Please just follow the rules. And when we murder you, could you please protest peacefully? And when we choke your life away, please kindly refrain from outrage. And when we chase you down in the streets with our shotguns, please don't try to run. Please just stop and obey our simple commands. And when we press our knees into your throat for 9 minutes, please don't take a knee during our national anthem and ruin our football game. Things are not so bad, are they? Things are not so bad for us. Everyone has the same opportunity in this land of the free. At least it's always been that way for me. And when we take your life away, it's only because you didn't follow our rules. And when we take your life away, it's just because you matched the description of someone else we feared. And when we take your life from you, it's just because you were holding that cell phone. We thought it was a gun. And that empty hand, we thought it was a gun. And that toy you're holding, we thought it was a gun. And that gun you had a legal permit to own, it made us fear for our lives. You make us fear for our lives. We don't know why. Our lives are precious. Our lives are at risk. You have to understand. It's so hard to be white in America today. You need to understand. Is it so hard to understand? Please just protest peacefully. Please don't interrupt our football game. Please don't remind us of how we've treated you. Please just follow the rules. And that is very painful to say out loud. But I hope that my white friends can hear how this is what they are saying, even if they're not saying it out loud. That's how they sound. And I wanted to briefly read a post that a friend of mine wrote. His name is Kenley Stewart, and it's called Dear White American Jesus. He writes, one of the most important theological, Christological statements I've ever read comes from Khalil Gibran. He's a Lebanese American poet and a Christian. And he says, quote, once every 100 years, Jesus of Nazareth meets Jesus of the Christians in the garden among the hills of Lebanon. And they talk long. And each time Jesus of Nazareth goes away saying to Jesus of the Christian, my friend, I fear we shall never, never agree. Taking that as my inspiration, I offer the following. Frequently throughout American history, the Jesus of white America meets the Jesus of immigrants and refugees who says to him, my brother, why do you deny me entry? Can you not see my wounds? Some that you caused. Why build a wall to keep us out? When did you begin to proclaim Lord Caesar instead of Lord Christ? The Jesus of white America also meets his oldest companion, the Jesus of black America, who says to him, my brother, when will you finally let my people go? Was one crucifixion not enough? Why crucify young Emmett Till, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, and countless others? Why do you care more for a flag than the broken black and brown bodies that prop it up? The Jesus of white America is then confronted by the Jesus of Africa, South America, and colonized persons everywhere who says to him, my friend, when will you stop exploiting us? When will you stop stealing from us? When will we get our land back? Why not redeem yourself and seek forgiveness for your transgressions towards us? Our children are sick, hungry, and dying. Are the tears of their mothers less than yours? You can fund wars and launch drones, but not bake bread? I know not what is worse, your abuse or your indifference. And finally, the Jesus of white America is confronted with the overlooked but original Jesus of Palestine, who says, my friend, why do you ban Muslims? Don't you know they love me too? Can't you see hatred of the other leads to the cross? You moved your embassy to Jerusalem, but continue to turn your back on Bethlehem because it rests on the West Bank? And what can the Jesus of white America do but hold his head down in shame? Does he have the deluded hope that his hat will hide his identity? Why follow a red hat, but not listen to the words written in red? The questions have been asked, and now we wait for a response.
That's good. That's good, Brother Keith.
Thank you.